should be seeing our essential oil gathering. That's, hey, guess what? That's today.
Hey, that's today, right now.
Right now. So we're going to be sharing, Deborah and I are going to be sharing about how Aroma works. Don't go away on me, Deborah.
I'm not. I'm just. It had to say. See, we don't have our little picture up there. I was
No.
just curious.
Oh, you curious here?
Well,
I can do it for you.
this is
There
the
you go.
what is it? This is the sideshow, the Deborah and Laurie sideshow.
Deborah and Lori sideshow. Yeah, we're trying this sitting side by side. So here we go. So
Oh,
I'm going to play a little video for you first, so you can
have a laugh.
be as entertained as I was at this.
Okay, we're here at Young Living Convention, Deb. What are you doing?
I'm smelling oils. This one I need from the beginning, brain power.
Oh, get your head in there. Can you snort it? Can you snort it?
I bet basically this is celebration. We are celebrating being at the convention.
Hey, so look at the color of that one. What's in it that makes it so blue?
Blue tansy. I
Blue
have no
tansy.
idea. I'd have to look at. I'd have to read them all.
And you know, this one, brain power, is not this a great one to work on the toes, put the oil on the toes, right?
Certainly.
For the brain reflex.
And this is my favorite. It's hard for me to smell that one, but that's clarity.
Clarity is another good one that we use in our nervous system classes.
And here's hope. The nickname
Oh,
that I talked about.
hope.
Melt the inner
So
child.
nice. You know, usually people will come in and what they'll usually do is they have these little tester sticks like this stuff. So you don't have to stick your nose.
Oh, I'd rather stick my nose.
Here, smell. And take a bath in that tonight?
Definitely peace and love. Oh,
Well, I just want to really fast. How many of you think the blue tansy is what made the color in this? So we had a couple blue oils there. And so it was blue cypress in brain power. Yeah.
Okay. I love
And
brain
celebration is German chamomile. And the only one that actually had the blue tansy was peace and calming.
Mm.
So there's several oils that have that deep blue color, which is from azulene, and azulene is very, very good for your skin. So any of those oils with that, the azulene oil is really wonderful for the skin. Yeah. So we're going to be talking a little bit about how to smell. Oh, and I lost us again, Deborah. Sorry. Got to do all this crazy stuff. Here we go. So Deborah, what's the best way to smell oil?
Well, for smelling oils takes some practice to be able to see exactly or to know what you're discerning in an oil. But mainly what we're going to try to teach you tonight is about your olfactory system. So how when you sniff an oil, what actually happens, and that it goes into your olfactory system, which triggers electrical responses in your body. Like if you ever smelled something really good to eat and all of a sudden you're salivating, well, that is a reaction in your body with your limbic system. So you have you start salivating, or it could even be something that is emotional that you might have, because the limbic system deals with your emotions as well. But it goes up into your system, into your olfactory and into your olfactory bulb and neurons and the receptor sites. And then it goes throughout your body, but your brain is instantaneous. It just tells your brain tells you what you're smelling.
So every time, no matter, like if we're diffusing our essential oils or if we're doing Reflex-OIL-ogy and we're giving, I notice that in our classes when our students are giving and using the oils on the feet, they are feeling so good as much as the receiver is. Is that why? Because they're smelling the oils as well?
Oh, definitely. Getting it as far as in their system, as well as using it and having it on their hands. So it's going into your skin. So, but they're getting the benefit just as much as the person they're putting it on.
So I'm kind of looking at this picture. I hope everybody can see this picture up here, not me with the stick up my nose, but the other one. So when you smell the oils and they come into your nose, right? What you said is it goes up into this olfactory bulb. So I'm just imagining, all the odors go up into your nose, right? And what happens if somebody had an accident and their nose broke?
Or you've got a deviated septum, yes, and all that. I don't know whether it would be, it depends if it's damaged your olfactory.
And I think
The-
that is protected behind the skull. See this
Mhm.
black line? That's so the olfactory bulb is protected behind the
It's
skull.
actually up underneath the bottom of your
Oh.
brain is what it is. So there's actually two parts of the olfactory bulb.
You know, I just thought about this. Gary often talked about when you're trying to work on the brain, to put the oil on your thumb and put it on the roof of your mouth.
Ah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Because that palate right here, right, would actually go closer to
The bulb.
the bulb.
Mhm.
Isn't that interesting? So if we follow that nerve, right, what you said, it comes into this, into the inner brain right here, which is your limbic system. So what you were talking about, the limbic system, it, you know, smell helps with digestion, which we're going to be talking about digestion in a little while too, but it also your moods, right?
Metabolism,
Wow.
motivation,
And the saliva you
the
talked
saliva.
about helps with that, and the instincts. And I think about all the different smells, like when you smell something like, you know, I still remember the smell because I went to New York and I was walking down and the pizza parlor there had that certain smell. And it was such a good time because it was friendships and good times. And so it brought that emotion back,
That's exactly right.
right?
How amazing that is, that just the smell is tied in with your whole body and your brain.
It's
So,
very incredible. One of the things that I always like to point out how close it is to the pituitary gland and the pineal gland right here. So do the smells affect your hormones?
I would say how they couldn't. I
Right,
mean, they'd have to.
exactly. They'd
Yes.
have to. And you know what, when we were researching this presentation, Deborah, and I think I mentioned this in classes before, but there are actually now there are sensory smell sensory cells on our internal organs. Our kidneys can smell. Our liver
Oh,
can smell, our blood vessels smell. So think about when you put a perfume, when you put an essential oil and you put it onto your carotid artery or your perfume. I use essential oils as my perfume, right? So do you know why you put the oil here or on your wrists?
because it gets into your blood system
Because it gets into your blood system.
quicker.
Yeah, and that blood system takes it, ooh, my ear just fell out. That takes it into the whole body, into every organ and gland. So just think how happy you're making your organs and glands. That's one of the reasons why Reflex-OIL-ogy works so well.
Now, we had someone tell us, and we've been discussing it about, you know, putting an oil in your hand and smelling it and breathing, taking a big breath. Well, you're getting it into your lungs more than into your nose. And so you want to maybe, instead of taking a bit, because, you know, just smaller breaths, maybe sniffs, or you can take a bottle and you can waft it in, which is what they called, so that you would get a smell of it if you're trying to discern what's in the oil.
Yeah, because you know the oils, the oils are so concentrated. So you know if you stick them up your nose, it's kind of, you know, you're going to lose a lot of the information that's going on in there. So we chose abundance. So if you have a blend, look up, take some time and look up and identify what each single oil is in that blend. We chose abundance simply being, I'll come back to this, but I wanted to go ahead and show you when you are smelling oils. And we talked a little bit about this last month, excuse me, with the deep spectrum. But monoterpenes, and you hear me in our Reflex-OIL-ogy classes all the time talk about and identify the main constituents. Now, constituents are the natural occurring chemicals in the oils, in the plant. And so they're concentrated in essential oils. So monoterpenes, see that MW there, Deb,
Mhm.
that 136? Well, that's the molecular weight. So when you have an oil and you leave the cap off, all those constituents that are light, they evaporate very quickly.
Mm.
So every constituent has a job to do in your body. So that's why we have them in dark bottles, so the light doesn't affect it, and we keep them capped, because otherwise you're going to be losing all those real fine particles, you see, that can make a big difference. And then we talk about sesquiterpenes. So what's their molecular weight there?
So 246.3, which means that it's a much heavier
It's heavier.
molecule.
Right, right. And then there are things called diterpenes. What's that one?
320.5. You can't read.
No, I can't. And then there are tetraterpenes that are heavier. Now, what's it? Why does that matter? Because the healing compounds are often found in the heavier. Interesting, huh? So when you look, and we'll probably want to play with this a little bit more, maybe on next month or a month after, and talk about each chemical constituent and what it does for your body, so that you'll be able to choose an oil that's high in that constituent. And that's what we talk about in the Reflex-OIL-ogy classes for each body system. We choose oils with certain chemical constituents because they have a certain job to do. It's like if you're baking a cake, right? And so each ingredient is really important. Now, do you think, I did this once, instead of a teaspoon of baking powder, I put a teaspoon of salt? Do you think it made a difference?
Oh, definitely.
So what you have in your essential oil, and this is where the chemical, if oils are adulterated, if they're not premium life force oils, if they're not distilled properly, then they have chemicals, and it changes the whole chemistry. It changes everything
Or
about
they
what
could have a synthetic chemical in
Yes.
there to make it look like it, but it's
Yes.
not.
Yes,
Correct.
and it doesn't function extremely
Correct.
well. Right. So we're going to get ready to smell. So Deborah, how are we going to do this?
All right, we're going to take one of our little sticks, and we're going to, now when we were at convention, the scientist that was doing he was talking all about all the oils and how he was showing how they were made. He suggested taking one of the sticks and putting a drop on it.
You know what? Put your stick over here and I'll drop it this way. There you go.
All right. And so then you let it sit for a second. You can smell it immediately. And then
Ooh,
he
that's pretty.
suggested letting it sit for a bit, and then you're going to be able to smell it more and more and more.
What's the first thing that you smell in here?
I smell like orange,
Orange.
a
Now,
little cinnamon. Is cinnamon in it? I don't even know what's in
actually, cinnamon is in it. So cinnamon is high in aldehydes, but your orange is interesting. The orange has one of those real heavy chemical constituents called a tetraterpene in it. So this, if I let this sit out for an hour or so, and do this with your blend, and you're going to put it on your little stick and let it sit for a little bit, and you'll see how it changes. Now, what's another way to use the essential oils? Could we put this on our skin?
Yes.
Will it make our
and
skin abundant?
definitely, especially when you have a prayer to go along with it to tell you,
The intention.
of using. But once you put it on your skin, it's also going to smell differently, because then it's reacting with your skin and your
wow.
chemicals. So do the next one after you've smelled this, then put it onto your skin.
Now this one, I smell the cinnamon a lot and clove a lot more than I do on my
So it's
skin.
quite different than what's on my skin.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's interesting. And then what if we smell it directly from the bottle?
Well, when you smell it directly from the bottom, you're getting, if you're, unless you do a little bit more,
Or
little
should I do it like in
sniffs,
my?
well, then it's reacting with your skin. So
Oh,
smelling it
oh.
directly out of the bottle. Now at convention, they had them in the big containers to where you could actually smell it, but we didn't do that. We just have a little one today.
You know what I smell differently on this one? It's more the frankincense, which is more of a monoterpene. It's a lighter frankincense. It's a lighter smell, isn't it? Than on the stick.
I smelled the ginger.
Yeah, and the ginger, which is a sesquiterpene as well. Isn't that interesting? Ooh, I just caught a little bit of the black spruce, which is also monoterpene. So see, the lighter molecules would come out first from the bottle, right? And then if you put something in a dish, those smaller, lighter molecules are going to evaporate
The
faster.
longer it sits out. Yeah. And then you're going to
So
get the
this
heavier.
smells This smells really different.
And I use abundance for my perfume, if you call it that. I put it on every day, every morning, every night. But I use multiple oils every day.
So why
And I have
why
my
do you use
ritual.
abundance on yourself?
Because it's with my prayer of asking for abundance, and my intention of having abundance and love and happiness and
I
security.
think it's working
finance.
for you.
I think so too. I got married this year.
Yes, that's right. It's working. All right. So I hope you had fun with that. And it's a good way to smell the oils. And I encourage you to get that little piece of paper and leave it out, and as you just walk by and see, mine's already changing.
It does, it changes.
It changes as the oils.
we
And
can
so
talk
the
about
heavier
things?
molecules will be down. No.
Okay.
Um, all right. So in the, when we were looking this up, a lot of people after COVID have lost their sense of smell,
Or it was greatly diminished.
greatly diminished. Now that can also happen from, sinus infections, right? Or damage. A lot of
Mhm.
people can't smell. I know my mother, as she got older, lost her sense of smell. And when people lose their sense of smell, their appetite goes away, like you said, right? Their appetite decreases because no saliva.
And it's not, your brain's not tricking it as well.
Right. And the smells, right? When you smell and you really focus, like Deborah said, smelling with a prayer and intention, it carries that more into your brain. So you're really activating with intention the brain cells,
Mhm.
is what you're saying, correct? So, and also there's brain tumors, obviously, or head traumas can affect this. So there's the olfactory bulbs. You see that up there?
Mhm.
So that's where they are. You breathe in through your nose. They're way up here. Now, does anybody know what the name of this is? That's the sphenoid sinus. Remember, we work on that in our respiratory system on the toe, because if that gets inflamed, that can cause a lot of neck aches. Did you know that? Chronic
No.
neck aches can come from an inflamed sphenoid sinus. Off the track, but sorry. Had to say that, sorry. But here's your olfactory. So those receptor sites are going to go into that and carry that up into the brain. So one of the things that when you want to do scent training, and Gary Young was what they call the nose, because he trained himself how to be able to smell not only what essential oils were in a blend, but he also trained himself on how to recognize the different chemical constituents like monoterpines or apinine or a ketone or an aldehyde or whatever it might be. So that's pretty phenomenal.
I think that's, I just made me think about, I knew a chef that could taste something and could tell you exactly what was in it, what spices and everything, any ingredient in it. I mean, they would have to have the same ability like Gary did to have that discerning nose or taste buds. I mean,
And
it's
you know
amazing.
what? I think everybody has it. We just don't,
well,
we don't develop it.
Right, exactly right. The best way to smell is to train your smeller.
Train your smeller.
And
And
you
so
have to train your smellers.
we do have to train our smellers. So when they do scent training, like if people have lost during COVID, they lost that sense of smell. So they suggest to do get a floral oil like rose, jasmine, lavender, but they also suggested to have a memory if it's an oil that has a memory. I mean, because you talked about how the limbic system is so
Mhm.
connected to memory. So if your grandmother's house always smelled like roses, that would be a good oil, right? Because as you breathe that in with focus, then you're thinking about that memory as well.
Mhm.
And then a fruity. So there's 4 different ones that they say that you should practice with. So a fruity one, whether it be lemon or grapefruit or orange, and orange we know so healing because it has those tetraterpines in it, which is pretty cool. And then spicy. What are some spicy?
And did you know that orange is the most, sorry, didn't
That's
mean
all
to,
right.
is the most, the oil that is most produced in? I read that just when I was researching something, but orange is produced more than anything, it said.
The orange oil, essential oil. What's
Orange
it?
oil, whether it's, or anything to do with orange. It was
Interesting.
talking about orange juice as well, but orange oil.
Well, I know orange is one of the favorite scents of children. And so when you're working with children and if they have a fever, you're just introducing people to essential oils. Daria
Oranges.
always said orange, lemon, grapefruit, they're
Mhm.
uplifting, right? Again, going into the limbic system and making your moods improve. And oranges are comforting. Kids love that
Mhm.
smell of orange. It's interesting. So smells have a lot to do with our health and well-being. Spicy. So what are some good spicy oils? Spicy. Not salsa spicy. Not
salsa.
hot spicy, not hot pepper spicy.
Well, black pepper, or would that be spicy? Or
Yeah, it is, but I'm thinking more of
like
your,
a clove?
like,
Yeah.
because we really smelled that in here, didn't we?
Mhm.
Clove and cinnamon,
Definitely, yes.
nutmeg is another one. And then woodsy or resinous, they would call. So eucalyptus, that is a really super awesome smell. Any kind of fir, balsam fir, black spruce, pine oil, anything like that. So there are these 4 different categories. And so what you're going to want to do is they say to sniff each oil with focus and intention. And you have to do this 2 or 3 times a day. So during your break, and here's another little thing. The more you sniff the oils, the more your appetite is controlled, because the oils actually make you think you're starting, you know what I mean? It's like your peppermint, they said, will actually reduce your appetite a lot. So, and it increases your mental, because a lot of times we eat when we're tired and we want a stimulus. So the oils will actually lift your mood, give you more energy, more oxygen, and you won't want to eat.
Well, think about that. Yes, because it definitely oxygenizes. Is that right?
Yeah, I like that word.
Elsa's gonna really fuss out. She laughs at us both talking. Anyway, but if you're smelling it and you smell it with your intention, it could also be that smell that you're trying to, think about instead of eating, like orange, maybe just use that with intention and drink water, and not necessarily, and have that maybe your go-to oil if you're hungry, that you don't need to be eating.
I like that. I like that. So they suggested that instead of right from the bottle, they said get a jar. So something with a jar with a lid, so you don't want, you can put your like a cotton pad in the bottom or a cotton ball, and get a glass jar with a tight fitting lid,
not
label
plastic,
it, not
definitely.
plastic, and label it, right? Because you're going to be doing this for a while, and so you're going to open that up, and then with intention, breathe that. Ooh, this has gotten better.
So if you know someone who has lost their smell because of
Yes.
that C word, then you might want to pass this along so that they can start helping themselves start smelling again.
Yes. And it's a great
Wow.
mental exercise. Isn't that changed? I also thought, Deborah, they could put it in a cotton ball and in a Ziploc bag. If they didn't have the jars.
That's in the plastic bag.
Yeah, that's true. All
because
right.
it will,
Not a good idea.
Yeah, it would still disintegrate some of it.
Well, that should help. Hopefully that helps people. Okay. So I did want to let everybody know there's a QR code. You can just hold your phone up to that one from Young Living if you need help with any of these oils and you want to learn more about them. Young Living has on their webpage, you can click on any oil like Abundance. It will tell you the ingredients. It'll tell you the research they have on it. It will tell you where it was grown, what it does for the body, et cetera, et cetera. So a lot of good resources on youngliving.com. And then you can also look at our classes, and we're going to have a lot of our videos because Deborah's working really hard on the webpage to have more information on the essential oils that you're choosing to use in your Reflex-OIL-ogy work.
And if you don't know how to use a QR code, so that's one of those new things. So what it does is once your phone, if you have the app on your phone, and some phones will already have it, you hold it up to it and you click on just where the QR code is in your camera, and it'll take you to a web page, which is what we've plugged in here. But if you have any questions, or you want to just ask a question about an oil or how to order, you can also email us or call us. That sometimes I'm old school, so sometimes I
Yes.
like just to talk to someone or email.
Very good.
Don't ever hesitate to call one of us.
Absolutely. And you can see that's funny.
Yes.
And so I figure what we're going to be doing, everybody's welcome to our Reflex Reunion Zoom calls. They happen on the first Friday of every month at 10:30 a.m. Central Time. And we're going to talk about the nose, how to work the nose reflex on the feet. And I'm sure we'll get into some other discussions as well, but everybody is welcome to join us for that. And everybody's welcome. Please mark your date. We're going to have another essential oil gathering, September 14th.
We are trying to have more gatherings. The world went upside down. So, and we used to have
getting it right
classes
side up.
that we used to have classes all the time and gatherings and get together, and we missed that. And so we're trying to, if the only way we can see you is to have you on Zoom, we will take that. Or if you can have a group come over and join us for our oil gathering class.